let's focus on the vice president and her comments this past weekend in Munich and the things she said about the cost of a potential Russian invasion. Here she is.
When America stands for her principles and all of the things that we hold dear, it requires sometimes for us to put ourselves out there in a way that maybe we will incur some cost. And in this situation, that may relate to energy costs, for example.
So you have the vice president there talking about the cost that the Americans would inevitably pay if there is an invasion here. But to your point, why, they've already said that if there is an invasion, that's it for Nord Stream 2. But what are they waiting for? Wouldn't shutting down Nord Stream 2 right now preemptively prevent this invasion?
First of all, she's a disaster on the world stage. Who says put ourselves out there when you're trying to describe what the U.S. actions will be? I mean, she's got to go back to Foreign Policy 101 and get some instructions. I mean, to go to the world stage, to represent the United States of America at the Munich Security Conference and say things like, when we put ourselves out there, this is not Sacramento, California, where you get a press corps that it isn't going to challenge you. This is the world stage, and you're representing the greatest power. Talk about what we're going to do in terms of specific sanctions. The reason why she won't talk about that is because the Germans have it over on the Biden administration. For some reason, the Biden team is completely listening to the Germans, and the Germans don't want to talk about specific sanctions. The Germans don't want to pay their fair share at NATO. The Germans want to tell other NATO members not to arm the Ukrainians. The Germans are being a terrible member of NATO and of the EU. Remember, John, they have a budget surplus, and yet they're not paying their fair share at NATO.
Right, because nobody's forcing them to pay their fair share at NATO, unlike the previous administration. Let's also talk about the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelensky. He continues, like you do, to urge these sanctions. He wants them yesterday. It probably isn't even soon enough yesterday, but here he is talking about this administration, the Biden administration, and their plans for sanctions.
You are telling me that it's 100% that the war will start in a couple of days. Then what are you waiting for? We don't need your sanctions. After the bombardment will happen, and after our country will be fired at, or after we will have no borders, or after we will have no economy, or parts of our countries will be occupied. Why would we need those sanctions then?
I think that soundbite speaks volumes, and it goes back to what you were saying. The way the Ukrainian president calls out the American president like that all goes back to the failed withdrawal from Afghanistan. And without that, you don't hear foreign leaders speaking so disrespectfully about the United States as Volodymyr Zelensky does there.
Look, Joe Biden has treated the Ukrainians and President Zelensky with disrespect from the very beginning. They delayed his meetings in Washington. They didn't invite him, and then they canceled and put it off until it was really too late. They didn't equip the Ukrainians with, American arms for a very long time. They delayed that. What I don't understand is why the State Department is allowing this situation to go the way it is. What we have is the State Department really ignoring the Ukrainian requests and instead waiting for Russia to start a bloody war. And that doesn't make any sense. It certainly doesn't make sense from the American standpoint that we're going to wait to see blood before we utilize peaceful diplomacy.
It's amazing, too, that you see the same people, different administration, the Biden administration versus the Obama administration, but some of the same people making the same mistakes. Under Obama, they removed that missile defense system from Poland, wanted to put it in Turkey. That was a huge gift to Russia. Then ultimately, President Obama realized he had to put another battalion of troops back inside Poland. You'd think they would have learned the first time around. Obviously not.